All right. So it's been an amazing ride here. I mean, I am just so over the moon with what we've done here. Every time I walk in, all of the guest faces and the engaged employees and all these amazing DJs that come through here. Like, we have some of the best talent in all of Denver consistently. We owe that to not only like the space and our spirit, but also Ashley Hardy, who has helped kind of distill our distilled Beacon through the musical lens. I think she's done a fantastic job at that. It's one thing that I'm always very impressed with when you come here. So I think if my ego was speaking right now, and like through that specific like conversation and lens, I've heard that throughout town, like the Beacon vibe. Like, just hearing that, I'm just like, ooh, that feels good, you know?
Yeah, I've heard the phrase the Beacon vibe a few times.
Yeah,
sure.
it's so like, it's so cool to be like, wow, we are doing a good job. And so, we just employ so many amazing people. The 5 nights that we're open, what, Wednesday to Sunday. We have a great backyard. I think if we were to have a struggle, it would be getting that earlier business to know that backyard a little bit better.
Yeah.
We got this new sign out front. Like, if you don't know, we have an amazing backyard.
Yeah.
Perfect for daytime drinking.
Call it our secret
or
oasis.
gathering.
It is not obvious. It is very hidden from plain sight.
Yeah.
It is not the typical Rhino metally industrial feel. It's very soft and loungy with shade structures and art.
Yeah.
It's actually really beautiful, and it's just so hidden from plain sight that thousands of people walk by without knowing it's there.
Yeah. And talking about like making a change when something isn't working the way you wanted it to, we actually had to bring a shed outside.
Yeah.
And like, so people didn't have to go very far to grab a drink. What else did we do recently? We got Kaiser. His has been a friend of the family since we opened. Did some great new furniture back there. So it's one of my favorite places to enjoy a beverage and conversation in Rhino.
Yeah, it was very important to us that we had seating that was reliable and also allowed people to be almost laying down while having a drink.
Inflecting our personal lives a little bit here.
Big time.
Call that the plounge. So we almost have plounges out back. It's been such a blessing opening Beacon, working with you, continuing to tinker with Beacon and making it the best we can for not only our employees but the guests as well. So with that being said, it's exciting to talk about, or this will be a little cagey conversation, a little bit, we don't want to give too much away because we are on the, we're still in that like exploratory phase of what's next. And what's next is we are doing something similar in a similar spirit.
Yeah.
And in the same neighborhood.
Similar spirit, similar principles, very different concept, very different theme.
Yeah.
But same
Still
heart.
artist curated, excuse me.
Yep. We'll be working just like Beacon worked with dozens of artists, some doing very big lifts, some filling in corners here and there. This is going to be another go of looking to the artist community to give them a space to tell us what they think should be happening in here. And we're not talking interior designers. We're talking about people who just go wild with ideas.
Yes.
And something that I absolutely love is the process of recruiting. And I know you love this too. Like working with artists is obviously like easily one of the best parts. But recruiting them, hearing what their ideas are, and then employing them to do it, giving them the opportunity to just let their imaginations go wild. So that we wind up with a space that will inevitably be very high volume, and so many people can experience their art. And instead of some wallpaper with maybe a painting, we end up with something that looks like a cloud or a tree or just something that's totally out there, and it costs a lot of money. It's probably why people don't do it as often.
Yeah, it is, and it's hard to work within the restraints of a budget, especially when there's a reason why it's hard. It's because people haven't done it. There's no playbook to opening an immersive art and dance bar or an immersive art and dance lounge or whatever our verbiage is, right? And so, and that's not always easy for the artist as well, because there is, and these things do take money to make, but we do want, the best experience possible for not only the artist, but the customer and the employee as well. So finding that balance, I think, will always be a struggle for us because we have to not only pay the bills, but pay the investors back. Thank gosh, we're actually in a position to, at Beacon, start that process.
Yeah. To be, pretty close, to our 2-year mark, which, hopefully by then we're also
December
close to
of 23, 2 years, right?
Yep. Hopefully by then we're closer to that investor payback, and which is the perfect timing for this next concept because we'll be back out there again raising money for shirts so that we can employ these artists. And like to your point, it's really expensive to build an immersive art space. A music festival can sell 5, 15, 50,000 tickets at a high ticket price. They know they have the money. They've got these guys building these beautiful stages just to tear them down.
Yeah.
We don't have close to that kind of money when we're raising money to build an actual bar. But the difference is that the art is still here 18 months later, and rather than being torn down after a week. And, we've scanned over 120,000 IDs at this point.
Yeah.
That's unique IDs, that's not the total number of people. So to be able to give that artist the gift of people just celebrating them is, something that I think we're both really proud of as well.
100%.
And something that we're going to definitely do again with this next spot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting, the navigation's not always easy. And you throw that navigation into the wind with like a very stressful environment. It's chaotic opening this is called a first generation space, right? So we're actually ripping up concrete to put in plumbing to dump ice. So this is a first generation space. That's just challenging in itself. But then you throw an artist component and personalities into it. There needs to be a lot of empathy. And I think that patience, empathy, understanding of the budget, understanding of what the expectations are, and understanding that things can and will change. And it was the most rewarding and probably some of the most stressful time that I experienced opening Beacon. And I think we learned a lot, and I think that it's going to be a lot different next time. I think we know better questions. I think we're going to raise a little more money. There's not an outdoor space, but it will have more of that connection, those connecting rooms, more of that lounge, hopefully early evening type things. Maybe you can speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, Beacon is there in so many ways. We didn't know what it was going to fully be until we opened, and the public kind of decides for you. We knew that we're really good at throwing parties. Obviously, that's why we needed a dance floor. Turns out that's still where we really succeed. And but it's a tougher space to be in during happy hour because it is an empty dance floor. And with this next space, we have the gift of a little bit more natural lighting. We'll have multiple entrances, and we'll really have the opportunity to play to the people of Rhino who are already walking by, looking to not necessarily be hip and in a dance experience, but maybe they just want to be playing some games and having a good time, be it weird games that we invent or literally be it cornhole. We don't know yet, but the idea with this new spot
Dunk tank.
Oh, I wish.
He hasn't heard that yet. Waiting for later on that.
Yeah. I'm not a no.
Hey, the social spa.
There it is.
There you go.
There it is. Yeah. It's very social. Get up there. So yeah, the idea is to add way more playfulness, to have, if this is more like sexy art and vibes, to just have silliness and quirkiness
Yeah.
be kind of the lead ingredient.
Oh yeah.
To still have class, because we also want people to be able to like go on a date there and to have way more of a loungy element.
Yes.
And more places to sit. Actually, I think one of the expressions
That's great.
was,
No, that's a great way of saying it too.
yeah, like where Beacon has excelled as the best place to dance, this next place will excel as being the best place to sit
Before you dance.
before you dance. yeah. I mean, it's like, what are we gonna do? Like, not have
Not
DJs
dance
at night, but
Yeah.
but to get some of that happy hour crowd, to get more daytime activation, we really want to entertain people in a different way, and have the place just be way, I don't know, more homely feeling,
Sure.
I guess, than this place might be, which is very much a dance bar.
Yeah. What would be something that you would say to, and I've had this already happen to me. Why do you think you have how have you earned the right to open another place so early in this process of Beacon? Like,
Oh, yeah.
what's your how do you answer that question? I know how I answer it, but how do you answer that question?
I honestly have several answers. I personally, and this can sound a little egoic, just think I'm in tune with what people want, and I saw that Denver needed a place, and you were the guy to help me do it. At a place like Beacon,
Yep.
and you're the guy to help me do it, and I'm just witnessing that there's more opportunity like that, and that Denver's growing. There's certainly a lot of places to go out, but nothing quite exists like the top secret concept that we're working on.
Yep.
And in a way, Beacon kind of knocked it out of the park. I mean, within a little over a year, we were voted best dance bar, and we have our investor payback, on the horizon.
Yes.
And yeah, and I just
We earn the right to raise more money if you've paid back the
exactly,
the
yeah,
old money. Yeah.
And so, and the other thing is that these things take so long that you have to be ahead of it.
Yeah.
And if we want to keep expanding, yeah, it's going to be a little bit like hot pot, where you're like cooking while you eat.
Yeah.
It's just, if you don't keep cooking, then you're going to sit there with an empty plate while you wait for the next thing, right?
Totally.
So
Yeah.
We've actually been talking about this for more than 6 months.
Yep.
And only just,
And we're close on a couple of them too.
Yeah.
It was hard to say no on those first ones.
yeah,
Really hard. The
Yeah.
imagination that comes from when you walk a space and you're like that you could see the aerials, you could see the fire spinners, you could
yeah.
hear the drinks being made, and then it's like, actually it's not as cool as this next one.
Yeah, I know it's heartbreaking to not do everything that we want to do.
Yeah.
Easily my favorite part of the process is that original ideation and imagining a place. The amount of tours that we did, the amount of laps that I remember doing around what was basically a giant litter box when this was a construction site, giving the same spiel to investors over and over again, which sounded a lot like what it actually became, which I'm definitely proud of us for really following through.
I'm proud of that too, and that's another thing when you're talking about a partnership. The more you can anchor the thought process, and the more you can challenge the other person or offer insight to what and how you're thinking about something, I think is definitely a service to the other person. Like, if you have an idea, you share it with me, and if I have an idea, I share it with you. Are we in line with that? Like, we ask each other that all the time, and it's really important for the next phase when we do the tours that we do have the same language.
Oh yeah.
And it took us a while to get there for Beacon.
Yeah.
Because I had to shed my beliefs, you had to shed your beliefs, and we had to create our own belief. And I think we're far ahead of the game on this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time. The way that we speak with each other and the way that we ideate together is definitely clearly matured since our first round.
Yep.
And we're also not getting ahead of ourselves too. It's, we've talked a little bit about this vision for this next place, and we know what we want it to be as an underlying business and how it engages with the people of Rhino and all that, but we're also not like deciding where the chairs go just yet, like let's focus on, if anything, by the time this episode comes out, we'll have either recruited or have been heavily recruiting our lead artists for this project, because within the next 24 hours from now, I'll be working on the RFP for that.
Yeah.
And
maybe we can send a little bit of this nugget out to the world
yeah,
before the actual podcast comes out, just so we can like really try to engage with these creative types and builders sooner than later, you know?
Yeah. And the format that we have done in the past is that we have someone who is a builder and an artist who can really kind of be the lead singer of the band in that.
Which was John Medina, who, I mean praise the Almighty that John was a part of this, and just big shout out to John, and thank you, John, for everything you've created here. So
I mean he created
visionary,
our
everything.
logo.
Just we owe so much to him.
Created so much of our story, so many details. He and his brother made the whole dance floor willow weave that people talk about every day. The dance floor walls, so many pieces of this place. He was the
diamond
art
portal
driver
out back.
Yeah.
Helped us find other artists. Like he was a big, heroic. He was a big part of who we are today.
Yeah, and he's so talented, and it was a gift to get to work with him, especially to me, because I remember noticing that years prior, and we'd actually did a little pop-up mini festival, and I remember not really having that close of a relationship with him, but I basically just gave him my credit card. It was like, do what you think needs to happen here. And he made a whole community. It was a nonprofit event. He didn't lose a dime, and he built all of this beautiful stuff. So I was like, wow, if I give this guy money, this is what he does. Like, it's amazing. So it was a dream to get to work with him, and I'm excited to see who's gonna be our next person in that role in our new place. Wildly different theme, wildly different experience, down to the lighting and the cast of characters and the story. And we don't want to look too much like Beacon. If anything, most people probably won't know until they find out through conversations or whatever, but it's going to be very exciting to recruit that person. And and
we're going to be looking for everything from bartenders to bar backs to we really put a lot of effort and energy into these first Fridays. I think we're one of the only ones since we've opened that's been consistent. Winter, summer, rain, no matter what, we're trying to surround ourselves with creatives and builders and makers. So this is going to be a whole nother round of that, and a whole nother opportunity to employ more people and to expose more amazing art to the Denver public and beyond, right? Because people, it's a great, Denver's just so centrally located in the country, and a lot of great music and a lot of great opportunity for people to come in and roll in and check out awesome shit, and
wall to wall all day long. Be it the game that we had someone invent that might involve throwing something phallic, or the DJ that it's just Denver's DJ scene is just, if anything,
what a blessing it's been to work with some of these DJs, huh?
I mean, it's
just a lot of them.
We've had hundreds of DJs asked to play here, hundreds without exaggeration, and that only exists because the Denver DJ culture is so strong. And so it's definitely a blessing to have another spot where we'll be hosting. We'll be potentially doubling our DJ throughput, and opportunities for DJs.
Well, I don't think it is. It is happening.
It's happening. And then also, like you said, doubling the opportunities for people to work as a bar staff in here, or as an artist, be
cross-pollinating.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I think we're good.
Awesome. Well, wanted you to meet the team behind Beacon, and any opportunity or any questions you have, we're always available. We're always running in and out of here. Please know that anybody and everybody has access to us, and
absolutely. I really do encourage people to reach out when there's something that I might have in my brain that I learned the hard way and I could save them some time. That's definitely something I'm trying to call in.
That's amazing. And and if you were to have an ask today, what would it be?
Don't be shy, really.
Yeah.
Again, like, if there's a mentor opportunity out there
Sure.
for me, like, I'm not going to say no. If someone really wants it and they've got the guts to ask because they've got something that they're passionate about and trying to do, and they think I can help, please, I invite that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's really important. And if you can offer mentorship to your community of people, of friends, of acquaintances, and you have more knowledge about a specific thing or business, offer that to people, because that is the best school you can go to, is talking with someone that's learned and lived and experienced hard times.
You're going to experience hard times,
Yeah.
but we can at least help avoid some of them.
Yeah, exactly. So take a page out of our book, and that's how we're here today. Is Robert didn't want to make those mistakes, and the gentleman with the Subi event company that you purchased, he didn't want to make those mistakes, so he wanted to incorporate you into a circle. So it's not always about a monetary exchange; it's about an energetic exchange, and if you appreciate the person across from you. So appreciate you, brother.
Cool. Yeah, I appreciate you too, Mario.